KCJJ Weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply, kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
Fanatic.com, brought to you by Patrick Eads and his staff at Deary Brothers Ford on Mormon Trek. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike's E-Keys for cars. Excuse me. Also brought to you by Tavern Blue on the Coralville Strip. G.G. Carr and his crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. Supple's Flowers, the home of 1-800-800-ROSE. The Midtown Family Restaurants. Harty and Stocker Jewelers, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. Diamond Dreams Sports Academy. Premier Automotive in North Liberty. The Ox Yoke Inn in the Amanas. Streets Maintenance. And Dr. Lance Form's Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids. Sitting in for Suter, who's on vacation, is Tommy Lang. Pat Harty's here from HawkFanatic.com, and Coach Lisa Bluder is on the line.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today on this rainy day?
Great, but normally we would say we don't want to pull you away from your busy schedule, but I don't know what Lisa Bluder's schedule looks like right now. What's a typical day looking like for you these days, Coach?
You know, I'm not quite sure about that yet either, Pat. I really don't. Every day is different right now, and still feel like I'm on that treadmill a little bit, but I think it's going to slow down soon.
So, Lisa, these last 6 weeks, I mean, May 13th, that was the day off. What has it been like for you, and has it taken time for it to sink in, or have you moved on from that respect that you're into this next change, or are you still sort of in the transition stage a little bit?
I still almost – it still sounds weird when people call me former coach. I mean, I haven't got my arms around it yet, but I will soon. It doesn't feel any different right now. I feel like I've been playing hooky or been on a vacation. I'm sure that when, the games start, it's going to feel a whole lot different.
And I know you've talked about this before. I've actually seen some really interesting interviews with you since you did announce your retirement. When did this start becoming something that you knew, I'm ready? If we've achieved what I think, can you tell our listeners when you knew this was probably what you were going to do?
It wasn't really till after the season, and when Dave and I went on vacation, just a couple weeks after our vacation, we started talking about it and talking about what the future looks like, and even, I was tired too. I still love the game, and that's the thing I feel good about is that I loved my job. I loved being the Hawkeye and the women's basketball coach. And when you can walk away from something when you still love it, I think that's a really good thing. When you can do it on your terms, and it just seemed like the right time to do it. We had accomplished so much the last couple of years. It's like, what's there left to accomplish really? It's just leaving the joy of coaching. That was the hard decision.
Did it help knowing that Jan Jensen was there to just step right in and take over for you and keep things going?
And being able to hand her the job in respect?
Absolutely. 100%. Like, honestly, if somebody else would have taken the job, it would have been a little bit of a dagger to the heart. But, with her taking it over, it just seems like a seamless transition. I feel like I'm still a part of the team. And so that makes me feel a lot better that definitely that she's taken over.
So, Lisa, when you became a head coach at a very young age, I was thinking you've never been an assistant coach. And your style of play, was that from the very beginning, the style of play that in a lot of ways helped to get players like, Caitlin Clark, we always talk about location, close to home, blah, blah. Your style of play was a big factor in why she wanted to come here, too. Was that something you developed over time, or did you want to play that style from the moment you started coaching?
I pretty much stayed that way from the beginning. I wanted to always be an up-tempo coach. I remember I went to a clinic, and Pat Summitt said, pick 3 things you want to be really good at. And I wanted to be really good at rebounding. I wanted to be really good at up-tempo, and I wanted to be a really good offensive team. Those are the 3 things that I picked that you've got to do everything, obviously. But those are, she said, you pick 3 things you want to really excel at and build your identity. And that's what I did even at an early age. I can remember I was at St. Ambrose, and we were gonna play a pretty good team. They were coming into Lee Lohman Arena, which is where we played our games. And I remember going down there before the game on the afternoon and kind of pulling on the nets, getting on a ladder and stretching the nets out so the ball would come through quicker so we could get our fast break going a little faster.
So when you go against a contrasting style, or when you did go against, I should say, past tense, how much fun was that when a coach wants to slow you down from a strategy standpoint, knowing how much you can impact the game? Because there were teams I watched that would try to slow you guys down, and they couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see ways that people tried to slow us down. I mean, some people would try to do a slow-down press, but I think we were pretty good at breaking that, and it actually speed us up even a little bit more. And I think that was frustrating. I think the hardest thing for me is when people walked the ball down the floor on offense and tried to use so much time on the clock offensively that we didn't have as many possessions, but we were still going to transition hard on our end. So, I mean, it did probably reduce some points because of that, but it gave us rest as well. Like, we were resting on the defensive end when they were walking the ball down the court, and so we could even go faster on the offensive side of things. But that was probably the most frustrating to me.
So when you look at the new Iowa staff, Randy Peterson, Henderson coming back, Abby Emmert, Abby Stamp, Jan Jensen, I mean, you got to be really proud of coaching. Part of that is developing your own tree in some respect. And when you look at that staff, how proud are you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, first of all, you know, you also have Raina Harmon who stayed, who I'm so thankful for. I didn't get to coach Raina, but, you know, for sure, Abby Emmert, and then Tanaya Davis is still on staff.
That's right. Another
Randy Henderson, we coached for a year. Sean Sullivan was my manager, and actually I took Sean with me to USA Basketball back in, was it 2016 when I coached the USA Pan Am team. I took him with me as my manager and film person because I believed in him so much. And so, you know, he's also coming back. So I love that we have this lineage of women's basketball Iowa Hawkeyes remaining in that role.
Sean is also a Regina graduate.
Yes, he is.
So yeah,
proud Regina graduate.
Yes,
like
he is.
Me.
Yes, like Tommy is. So Lee, we haven't mentioned Caitlin Clark yet. Shockingly, that is.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been almost 6 minutes.
And I know I've seen you've answered countless questions about her. But Lisa, what was the challenge of blending in a superstar talent like that around what was already a good team around her? How challenging was that, and how fun was it? Obviously, looking back at what turned out to be an incredible run.
Yeah. Well, the challenges were getting people to kind of accept her and her style, and making sure that we still had our team chemistry around a star. You know, on the past, you know, we had Megan Gustafson, and she was certainly a star, but we had and I really love balanced scoring, okay? Let me just get that straight, is I love balanced scoring. I think it's harder to guard. But when you have a star, a generational player like Caitlin or Megan, you have to let them play. You got to let them go. Somebody told me, you know, never say whoa to a racehorse. And I think that's so true. So I had to change my philosophy a little bit in order to adjust to those star players, but also making sure you maintain the chemistry. And at first, you know, she didn't trust her teammates yet, and I had to make sure that she learned in that freshman year how to trust her teammates because she hadn't had quality players around her yet.
And when she came here, obviously she was a 5-star out of West Des Moines Dowling, my alma mater. She was, I think, third in her class. Actually, when you think about it now, she was clearly number one in her class. When did it take you and the other coaches to realize, maybe it happened in practice, in the game, wow, she's maybe even better than we thought? Did that take long?
You know, it didn't take too many practices. Obviously, that was a weird year because that was COVID when she
yes.
came in. So we did not get summer practices. So we did all of our practices virtual. They were all chalkboard sessions teaching our offense and defensive philosophies. So we didn't get to go on the court with them until it was really close to the beginning of September, which usually, you know, it's June you're working with your players. So it took a little bit longer that year to, I guess, you know, get everybody to gel. But certainly early on in practice, we saw just how special she was. But we had, again, convince her and really bring out her passing game, because her passing game, to me, is almost as spectacular as her shooting game.
I agree.
But she has to build that camaraderie between her teammates and her in order to have that passing really become evident, and that took a little time.
There's a stat with Caitlin that's misleading. It was in college and really in the WNBA, where she'll make a great pass, the player doesn't catch it, she gets the turnover. I mean, you've seen
The
that.
pass so good you're not expecting.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of a misleading turnover. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And that's frustrating for her because she knows it should be an assist, and now it's a turnover, so it should be something good on her resume, and now it's a blemish. And so I understand her frustration. And you see right now with her current team, you saw that happening at the beginning of the year. They weren't ready for her passes.
No.
And now they are much more prepared for them. And so I totally understand the transformation that has to happen between that chemistry of receiver and passer.
I know the players are better in the WNBA, obviously, but are they defending her way different than teams did? You could maybe say her last 2 years at Iowa where it really seemed to pick up the intensity. Are you seeing a major difference in the WNBA?
Well, they're just allowed to be a lot more physical, and that doesn't really bode well for Caitlin's game. I feel like, when I went and saw her last time, I felt like she was thin. She'd lost some weight, and I think it's because they don't have time to lift weights as much as they used to, in college with so many games and so much travel. But I feel like, they're allowed to be more physical, so they're taking advantage of being more physical. I think teams are really, blitzing the ball screen a lot more than what we saw. We didn't see people do that as much, which always kind of surprised me, actually, in college where, people doing it now. So that's a little bit different for her, but I saw her like last night, just beautiful split of the double team off the ball screen. So and she could always do that so well. She's doing great in my opinion.
Do you think she needs to be more, I'm not selfish isn't the right word, but shoot more? I think I read she took 2 shots and how much is that on Caitlin and how much is it on the circumstances around her?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, right? Like, I thought she passed up some really good open shots in the game against the Sky that she could have taken.
Me too.
I was kind of surprised she didn't take, but I think she's also very aware that, she has good players around her and she wants to get them involved. And so I think it's at that fine line that she's trying to walk right now between, should I take this shot and when you start questioning that, it becomes tough. It's reaction. A shot is a reaction. It's not something you can think about. And so if you stop and think about it too long, you probably shouldn't take it anyway.
Lisa, as great as she is on the court, when I watch her in interviews, she never says the wrong thing. I mean, it's amazing. I keep having to remind myself she's 22. Now, I know who her aunts are. She comes from a really good family, but I'm just amazed at how she always says the right thing.
Absolutely. She does. It's amazing. She is mature beyond her years.
Yes.
She is so articulate. She's so good in interviews, like crediting her teammates and, spreading the wealth, which is exactly what you want your players to do. It's what we talk about all the time with our players at Iowa is when you go into a press conference, you bring in your other teammates with you. Maybe they're not there physically, but you can bring them in with your words. And so she does such a good job with that.
I think we all knew Caitlin Clark would have some success in the WNBA, but how great is it seeing Kate Martin just thriving with Las Vegas? I heard somebody on ESPN mention her as a 6th Player of the Year candidate, so you got to be proud of that.
It's absolutely amazing. Here's somebody that thought that, she's going to go in the 3rd round. It's going to be tough for her to make a squad. And now here she is, playing and even started one time on the World Championship team. So I am so proud of Kate. And this is right up her alley. She likes to play physical. She was a versatile player in college, and so now she's really able to show that versatility. She's knocking down open threes. It's just, she's rebounding like crazy. Kate knows, her role, and she's never been afraid to stick into her role. And right now she's just reaping all the benefits of that.
I noticed, by the way, that when you went to see them play each other, you went to the game in Las Vegas versus Indianapolis. I'm sure that was a difficult choice to make.
Well, I'm going again next week, so it's not a bad decision. But I have been to Indianapolis as well to see a game.
So, Lisa, what's it like when you go to these games? Not saying, as the Iowa women's coach, you've always around here been a celebrity, but when you go to these things, people take pictures of you. You are like a major. What's that like for you now?
What's really neat is every time I've been to a pro game this year, I've only been to 2. Next week will be my 3rd. Tons of Iowa fans.
Yeah.
yes, they're wearing Kate Martin's Aces jersey and Caitlin's Fever jersey, but there's also Iowa jerseys in the crowd. And it's so neat to see the Iowa people just be so excited and want to support these women as they go on and extend their careers. So that's what's really been gratifying.
And it's been amazing to see the women's game evolve in large part because of Caitlin and some other players. I get it, but just her impact. But you retired at a time when NIL and transfer portal they're just so impactful. What are your thoughts on that? Are you worried about where those things are going? Is it different in the women's game than the men's game? Just your thoughts on those two things, because they're a big part of the landscape now.
Yeah, I think we adjusted to NIL and the transfer portal really well. I mean, we didn't use the transfer portal as an entire recruiting method. We just used it to fill in pieces like Molly Davis and Lucy coming in this year. The NIL piece, I'm really excited about the way our women are taking advantage of that opportunity and understanding that when they brand themselves with something, it's for the rest of their life. It's not just for this week. They're learning some unbelievable business lessons through this. What I'm worried about is what the next step is, and that is the revenue sharing. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how colleges are going to be able to afford this and run their athletic departments in the same way they have.
No, I share those concerns too.
Yeah, and now there's been talk of expanding the men's tournament. I don't know if that's going to go to the women's tournament or not. What do you think about that? Because I just saw that in the last couple of days. That discussion's happening.
I think that they're trying to expand it for more finances, right? I mean,
yes,
I think that's the only reason that we make changes anymore. I can't imagine you could do the men without the women. I fought for years for the women to go from 64 to 68 like the men had. In that, or 60, and it took us so long to get there, and I'm not sure why, with gender equity and such, that it took so long. I can't imagine if the men increased their tournament, why we would not be increasing the women's tournament too. I don't know how you can with Title IX and gender equity. I can't believe it took us so long to catch up in the first place.
Oh, and you're right. I think they would do it because of gender equity, but I also think they do it because it's more money, and that's what's the driving force of everything. Lisa, just a couple more questions, and I really appreciate you coming on. When you watch a game, can you watch it as a non-coach, or will you always have that coach in the back of your mind when you're sitting there in Las Vegas watching, or can you separate now?
I can separate a little easier when it's not a collegiate team.
Okay.
When it's a collegiate team, it's a little bit more harder for me to sit there and watch and not analyze and think of this. But, let's say I watch my son play at Grinnell. They play such a different style.
Yes, they do.
That I could just watch and, be a mom. Or when I go to the WNBA, I'm really focusing on my own players and not so much the coaching aspect. And I've never coached in the WNBA, so I don't know, all the strategies to that either. So it's more of when I watch a college game next year, it's going to be a little – because how much film have I watched over the last 40 years and, looked at it to evaluate. So I don't know how I could not do that.
So had you not gotten into coaching, what do you think you would have done for a career?
I think I probably would have been a teacher, or I really liked photography. I have an art minor, and so maybe something with that.
Okay.
I think that would have been one of those. I ended up getting a marketing business major, and I've used that a lot over the years, coaching women's basketball.
So I got to ask, would you ever entertain the idea of coaching again, or are you done?
I'm done. I mean, everybody keeps talking about this Fever job, and I'm telling you, first of all, I think they've gotten a lot better. I will tell you that. I think they've gotten a whole lot better. But why would I leave a great job for an average job? To me, it's, come on, I would have stayed where I was. I had a great job.
And you're still doing, are you going to do maybe advisories type work or whatever? You're not completely done, right? You're going to help in some ways, right?
No, I think that's gotten a little bit exaggerated.
Okay.
I really am done at the university. I think the advisory role will be when, Jan calls me up and talks about things, but that's no different than when my other former players have called me up and asked me about different situations. So no different than what they've done.
Last question, bucket list, vacation, things that you and Dave, places that you are excited to go to, that you plan to go to. Do you mind sharing a couple of those? Or have you thought that far yet?
I really want to go to Alaska. I want to do the cruise in Alaska and the railroad ride up there. We are going to go on the Rhine River cruise, so we're pretty excited. That's going to be our first excursion. I love national parks. National parks are a big thing for me, and I want to see every single national park, which is going to be hard to do because there's a lot of them, but that's on the bucket list as well.
Well, Lisa, great stuff. I really appreciate you coming on. This has been a lot of fun. Our listeners, I know, love it. The people on the podcast will love it. Congratulations on everything. I mean, you are a Hawkeye legend. And Tommy, any guys want to say anything before we end this great interview?
Steve, want to tell the story about backing into her car again?
Well, I did back into her car, and now I always could brag that I backed into it when she was at the Ambrose. I always bragged, hey, I backed into her car, and now I can't say that about a current coach unless you tell me where the current coach parks. And then...
Hey, I still am going to send you a bill for that. Okay?
My Lisa Bluder story, since we're sharing, was 15 years ago. A bunch of us media members went out, because we're all buddies. We all went out Christmas shopping on like a Sunday. It was me. It was who else? Andy Peterson, who was at WMT, who was doing the post-game show. You had Jared Aarons, the sports director at Channel 2, and Justin Roberts, who was the weather guy at Channel 2 at the time, and now he's got the show on 9. And we're at the Target in Coralville, and we see Lisa Bluder and her 2 kids with a shopping cart. And we're like, should we say hi? Do we bother her? I don't want to bother her while she... Yeah, it was like you were the biggest celebrity in the world, and here we are, a TV guy, 2 TV guys, a couple radio guys, and we were like shy to come meet to introduce ourselves. I thought that was hilarious. I'm sure you would have been fine with it, but we're like, we don't want to bother her. We don't want to bother her.
I would have totally been fine with it. And believe me, you wouldn't have been the first person that approaches me in Target. So no problem.
Okay, Lisa.
Fair enough.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Lisa.
Lisa.
Enjoy your retirement. I look forward to seeing you around. I mean, you'll still be going to the women's games, I assume, right? When you're in town.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, I was talking to Caitlin just the other day, and she said, "Hey, where are we going to sit next year at the games?" And I said, I don't know, Caitlin, we'll figure it out. She goes, I think we should sit at the end of the bench. I said, no, I don't think they're going to let us do that.
I don't think Jan would appreciate that.
That would be interesting. Well, we look forward to seeing you, Lisa. Again, thank you very much.
Yeah,
this was a lot of fun.
Much.
All right, bye, guys. And thanks for all your support and your continued support of Iowa Hawkeye women's basketball.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah, thanks. I had to just name drop there.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Steve went to Rock Island High School since we got our high schools in there.
No, I didn't. I went to
Moline.
Oh, Moline, that's right.
Yeah.
I always hear you talk about the mean streets of Rock Island.
Well, when I was a kid, I was in Rock Island, but then...
Well, Timmy Flynn said he grew up in the mean streets. You grew up on the elite hills, pampered and petulant.
My ass. Pampered and petulant. Timmy Flynn's full of crap.
That was fun, though. I really appreciate her coming on. I mean,
but it does talk to her without like a bunch of basketball. Like, what's the team going to be like?
And I'm glad she brought up the Fever coaching job because
I thought about bringing it up too.
I mean, there's people on Twitter that have hired her 2 weeks ago. You know, I mean, just and she set the record straight. She's done.
Every time that Caitlin has a bad game or something, people are like, fired. Sides doesn't know what she's doing.
I mean, it's
they won 5 in a row. You didn't hear it.
I did not watch. So what did you watch last night?
I turned it on after the debate and at halftime, and I go, I'm going to bed.
So who was coaching the Fever? Biden?
Yeah, he was out there.
Just kidding. I'm
leading a cheer.
No, I don't think he was leading any cheers.
No, there was no cheer.
No.
I could hear Vito Corleone better in The Godfather than I could Biden last night. Seriously. I mean, it was. We're going to spend the rest. We go from Lisa Bluder to just ripping Biden for the next 45 minutes.
No.
I'm kidding.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care anymore.
I do like the flash poll from CNN. They're talking to people at 11:30 at night. You know.
Yeah. How many? Yeah.
I envision them talking to prostitutes.
I thought it was. To be honest with you, I thought it was too long, and it started too late. I mean, I started to fall asleep, and
I don't think it would have been too long if it had been more upbeat.
Well, I started to fall.
I started
to fall asleep, and I'm 20 years younger than Biden, and I was sitting down.
The thing is, Biden, it was terrible for him. You know, I'm not going to.
Well, I wasn't expecting much.
Yeah,
he did dispel the jacked up Joe narrative, though.
Yeah, he really did.
Dispelled that.
But I'm not going.
He was just so different than the guy he was at the State of the Union and the guy he was in the Waffle House afterwards.
Yeah, he was at some.
He just went up there and froze.
He was never very comfortable with debates.
And the problem, you're right. And the problem is the bar's set so low with the lying buffoon next to him, but it doesn't matter if he lies.
No. No, they're basing
CNN
it
didn't do
on
any real life
they're basing
easy
it
fact
on
checking either.
But they didn't do it on either.
No, they didn't do it on either. That bothers me too.
Yeah, you know something. Here's what I was disappointed in CNN because we are of affiliation and everything.
For not fact checking?
We ran it last night.
Either one of them.
But Captain, had they fact checked, that thing would have been longer than Ben-Hur.
But if they would have just, you don't have. I mean, it was so easy to fact check the crap.
Yeah, some of it was just insane.
But it would have taken a lot of time.
But they didn't. What did they do other than read a script? Those two, the network bragged about them. They bragged, we got the top journalists in the freaking world, Dana Bash and Jack.
No, they were like robots. It was all pre-scripted. But that's what I was expecting.
I did like that they wouldn't let them get away with not answering the question. They'd come back to it and say,
but then he just wouldn't answer.
Yeah, he wouldn't answer. Trump had like 3 in a row where he wouldn't answer.
But the thing, obviously, it comes down. Trump is just better at style, and style just. Oh yeah. Biden was so bad that substance got trampled by style last night.
Biden was sick. Biden was over.
And he's old.
He's old. He was, in Europe twice.
He made Burt Mustin look young last night. I said that about halfway through this thing. They'd be better off with Burt Mustin up there.
Down with the kids, Pat.
I think I brought it up when I was filling in before.
There goes our demographic under 60.
No, all your kids now are Googling Burt Mustin and they're learning something.
I think the last time I filled in for Suter, I brought it up, which was like 2 weeks ago when he was on vacation. And there's a Twitch channel that has an AI Biden and an AI Trump debating, but you can also ask them questions in the chat, and they'll answer them and insult you. And it's way better than that debate was last night.
It was.
Kids are Googling Burt Mustin right now.
Yes.
It was bad, but something? It's 90 minutes and there's 4 months left. So I'm not.
That's the thing. It was earlier than most debates. There's a lot of time for a lot of stuff.
It's the earliest one.
Yeah, the earliest.
No, I'm not going to gloom and doom and say. I mean, I
did last night.
Because I'm guessing here the narrative is it was bad, but the gloom and doomers are overreacting. Eventually, substance will win over style, and I just don't. I don't share your optimism. I don't share your optimism. If that's
I don't know that I'm optimistic.
I mean, I don't feel.
No, I've said, and I've said it before the damn debate. If it's a democracy, democracies don't always work.
No, I mean, if he gets elected, it'll be through a Democratic. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and I'm more worried about Project 25.
You get what you deserve.
Well, I'm more worried about Project 25 than I am Trump. Trump doesn't care about Project 25. He just cares about whatever can get him in there and get him what he wants.
Project 25.
He doesn't care about that stuff.
Yeah,
but have you read it?
Is still alive.
Yes, I've read it, and
Project 25.
I'm telling you. All that's going to happen on day 2 of if he gets elected is court cases just flying up.
It'll be
it'll be anyway.
It's not worth worrying about. Like I said that.
Well, you go. We're doomed.
Well,
I read that.
I got friends from me last night that sent. We're doomed. We're screwed. We're effed. Yeah. We're finished. These are by people. These were all Democrats too. And it was I got them all in succession.
I got that stuff, but when you said we're doomed, I go, oh, God, I'm getting out of this and going to and then I just saw missed shots on, from the fever and everything.
But my thoughts really haven't changed. But what's unfortunate, it was such a low bar last night that he had to meet, and he just couldn't do it.
No.
Incredibly
low. And the other one, we were prepped, he's going to stick to, he's not going to attack anything and everything. He just came out and did a rally.
That's what his people want.
Yeah. Well, I said that yesterday morning. I said, if he comes out like that and is actually, a presidential candidate, then people are going to be disappointed.
I like the golf exchange, and I liked when Trump said, "Hey,
that was weird."
And when Trump said, "Hey, let's stop being childish," that was my favorite part of the debate.
That was good.
I enjoyed that part. The golf debate was just
ridiculous.
Great. Yeah. I loved it.
Hello.
Hi, Karen.
I think Biden would have been
much better if all he did was answer the questions that they asked him and don't sit and fight back with Trump and tell him how bad he was, and just let Trump sit and spew his lies, and you just go ahead and answer the questions and don't sit there and try and fight back.
But there were some questions.
He got all frustrated, and then he forgot what he was going to say, and it didn't make him look good.
But there were some questions where they were asking him to respond what Trump had just said, so he had to respond.
Okay, without telling me who you're for or anything.
I think I figured it out already.
Well, you didn't tell who I'm for.
Yeah, I wonder who she's voting for.
Did it change? Has it changed your mind at all?
No,
mine neither.
They're both old.
Mine neither. Yeah,
they're both. They answered the questions exactly the way I thought they would.
Yeah, Biden was just so bad at his delivery, and he just looked so old.
Yeah, he looked frustrated.
He looked old.
And then he wasn't able to get in there and say the words that he wanted to say.
Yeah, he just looked old and tired and kind of weak.
Well, he probably,
Well, he is old, and he probably was tired.
Okay.
But I'm older than Biden. I could have gotten up there and said things.
Yeah.
Would you have been meaner? Would you have attacked Trump at all? Called him names?
No, I would have done it in the sly way that made him look stupid.
What, like headbutt him? That was.
There's ways you can get across without really saying anything.
Okay. Look at what the
president. Be sharp about it.
Look at what the presidency does to people, though. I mean, we saw it with Obama. I mean, he comes in, his hair's dark and everything. He leaves,
you look so, and when you go out, you look like death warmed over.
You really do. And now you take an 81-year-old man that's been in there 4 years. No, he's not going to look good. He's got arthritis. He's got all the ailments I've got, and 5 more years on me.
And he's already walked into a mess, and you just don't clean up a mess in 4 years.
I don't believe this will make much of a difference.
No, I think
everybody,
because everybody said they thought this ended up the way kind of it would be. So,
yeah. Well, I think that people that are going to champion Trump, the people that are going to vote for Biden are going to vote for Biden.
I agree with you, but I do think there's some concern in the Democratic Party.
Well, and
we know there is.
There should be. Because
there's some concern.
Yeah, they are.
But there should be concern in both parties.
Yeah, but there should be, but there's not. The Republicans just want to get him in. So
Karn, you can always vote for RFK Jr.
Jesus.
Oh, my gosh.
His voice. I mean, okay, who would you choose between Trump and RFK Jr.?
I would not vote. And
but if you had to vote,
if I had to vote, if it was Iran and I had to vote.
Yes. You had to vote between one of those two. Who would you?
I'd vote for that guy that beat me out for consul.
But what if you had to vote for one of those two?
I couldn't.
So you'd let them shoot you in the head?
Well, they'd have to shoot me in the head.
Okay, all right. You'd be willing to do that?
I would be willing to be shot in the head right now.
More so than listening to
Can you
imagine listening to RFK Jr.'s voice for 4 years?
It's
like I said,
awful.
He's Bobcat Goldthwait.
It's awful, but he's just look.
Well, there's a worm eating his head.
You got four.
I'd see RFK Jr.
You got
shakes
45 people that work. 45 people. Trump was attacking Biden because he doesn't fire his staff. You got 45 people that worked under Trump that will not recommend him and said, "Don't vote."
And what's amazing about it, the base couldn't care less. They're all traitors and commies and rhinos, and it just doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I think most people, a lot of people, no matter, they already have their mindset, and no matter what you say, you're not going to change their mind.
No, and unfortunately, Trump, not that I am a big believer in polls, but he is leading in most of the polls. So we'll see. Like I said, we got 5 months to prepare. But I don't think this Project 25 thing, as frightening as it is, I really don't think he cares about it.
Well,
if they need to do it for him to stay powerful.
But Biden's the president now, and you're seeing this 25 crap happen. Oklahoma today.
I saw that.
You got to be teaching.
And I went to a Catholic
Bible.
school. I grew up. My parents were very religious, but they always believed in separation of church and state, as I do. And they took me to a Catholic school because they wanted.
Yeah, you have to be.
But part of it was sports.
You don't want. Okay.
Part of it was sports too.
Emma or Ralph, the phys ed teacher, talking about the freaking Bible. Okay.
And
my
dad was a public school teacher too, and he didn't want to talk about religion at school. He taught at a public school.
And the Bible it's a book of stories. And first, you can't talk about sex in schools in these states, but then you got all that begotten. I mean, tons of begotten.
A lot of begotten.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And people are going to say, listen to this
It's been a long time since we begotten, isn't it,
People are going to say, people are going to say, why you go from interviewing Lisa. I mean, to completely ignore the fact that there was a presidential debate.
No, everybody's talking about it.
I mean, you got to. We're not going to spend the rest of this time but you had to at least address it and try to have some fun with it. It did remind me of who are the two guys in the stands from the
Statler
Simpsons?
and Waldorf.
There was a lot of Statler and Waldorf last night, but there was a little bit of Burt Mustin, Tales from the Crypt, Barnum and Bailey.
Okay, well, the Iowa Supreme Court.
That old guy from Poltergeist 2.
Iowa Supreme Court, 4-3. Said, well, we can ban abortions after 6 weeks. They just reversed their decision. And the Supreme Court...
This is just announced now?
Yes. And the Supreme Court...
Breaking news.
Just announced now that cities can punish the homeless. So...
What do you mean punish them? Like beat on them for being homeless?
Move them along, jail them if they don't move along.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's great, but jailing them is just going to cost...
Yeah.
It's just going to cost more money. It's not going to accomplish anything.
Is that going to get rid of the guy who begs for money at the corner of Highway 1 and Highway 6?
No, it's just going to make no space for... that's not going to... But whatever, let's move on.
Yeah.
Karn wants to talk about the Cubs.
The Cubs suck.
The Cubs,
Yeah. Who had a worse performance? Biden or the Cubs?
They're in last place in a crappy division.
They finally won in 10 innings, but it took them 10 innings.
Okay, I think this is the beginning of a resurgence.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm
They
kidding.
won the day before, too. So.
Oh, wow, they're 2-game winning
Karn,
streak.
you should take Jim Hunter's optimism that the Cubs have the best record of all the last place teams in Major League Baseball.
Is that what Hunter was
that was
promoting?
I've been
yesterday,
watching both the Chicago teams, and I tell you, I need some help.
I did enjoy seeing the White Sox beat Chris Sale 1-0 on a bullpen day. That was great. I watched that
hand it
game.
to Hunter, though. That's a pretty optimistic way to look at
you
things.
have good pitchers in there, and all of a sudden the pitchers fall apart, and
Yeah.
then you don't, and then the bullpen falls apart. Then you go to the position players, and I don't know.
They're just not a very good team.
No.
I also watched the Aces, and I saw they beat Sky.
Okay, I did not see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see
Lisa was talking about. Did you enjoy the Lisa interview, Lisa Bluder?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed doing that.
yeah, that was very good.
Okay, well,
And okay, guys, I'm going to leave you to this wonderful, beautiful day.
Yeah.
all right.
Thanks,
All right,
Karn.
goodbye.
Thanks.
We go to the chat room. 39 Harvester. Biden made Southern Justin sound like Laurence Olivier doing Shakespeare. I'm not sure who that's meaner to.
Hello.
Would you do a Biden song of the week if the White House called?
That's Biden's song of the week.
It's like something from like 1932.
Do the lunch menus.
Hello.
That is funny right there. Sports and the debate. How ridiculous. You have to be, if you didn't know, you have to be very smart and hit the ball long to win a club championship. Biden can't hit the ball long.
Yeah, it's true.
What's the point in even bringing that? That's kindergarten.
Well, that's
And then he
what,
was the one who said, let's be
Further
mature.
than you.
that's what we're dealing with. But unfortunately, his base loves that stuff. They eat it up,
I know.
trying to humiliate the opposition.
So, but anyway, USA number one.
Well, maybe.
Well, yeah.
We'll see.
Depends on who the competition is.
Yeah.
Have a great. Lisa Bluder, that was awesome. Bye.
It was fun.
She's always good. Yeah.
Should we take a break and regroup, or are we going straight? Are we going straight through?
Commercial free. No.
No, we will not be going commercial.
We will
free.
not be going.
See, Suter's usually
Suter's
the one
not here. But
Did you like my text you about what Project 25's goals? Did you see
yeah,
that
Chad
one?
wants to know what that is, by the way.
Well,
And
look it
some
up.
people might not know, or you can Google it.
Just
Yeah,
it's the
John Oliver did a
infrastructure-
piece on it a
it's
couple
the
weeks ago.
infrastructure agenda of it's kind of turning us. Into
It's like a conservative
a
group
Christo-fascist-
kind of that has like,
turning
we
us
want to
in-
do this, this,
it's,
and this.
It's a Christo-fascist authoritative way of running.
It's like
our
a
government.
playbook for running the country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
and it's-
Christo-fascist.
Yeah, and
And I'm a Christian.
it's
Don't get me
both-
wrong, I'm a white male Christian. But I don't agree with any of that. I mean, we had don't get me started.
Well, it's a combination of the Federalists, the Heritage.
Yeah, Heritage Foundation.
Foundation.
And it's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't really a religious country, and I mean,
but then you remember, how about my text though about one of their goals was they're going to prohibit Souter from international travel.
I did like that.
They're going to. I mean, it was about Souter. They're going to make him stay home. They're going to make him stay.
There have already been 2 drinking photos posted. One at the airport, one on the plane.
I love it at the airport.
Not even in Europe yet.
They're the 2 that keep going up and down the airport and using the restroom.
I mean, I don't go along with that at all.
I'm just stating facts.
Well, he's not flying the plane.
Yeah.
We will take a break.
1-800-800-ROSE. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country. 1-800-800-ROSE. It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist. 1-800-800-ROSE. Remember,
for a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime, find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Harty and Stocker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site, so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Harty and Stocker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Harty and Stocker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HartyandStockerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
Are you tired of living in a home that doesn't quite meet your needs? Then it's time to call the experts at Streets Maintenance. Their team of skilled professionals specializes in renovations and remodeling, transforming your home into the space you've always dreamed of. From kitchen and bath remodels to complete home renovations, no job is too big or too small. Streets Maintenance will work with you every step of the way to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So don't wait any longer. Call Streets Maintenance to schedule your consultation at 400-4483. Let's start building your dream home today.
Once upon a time in the land of the Hawkeyes, a business grew. A business that would become synonymous with real estate. Hi, I'm Steve Anderson of Hawkeye Title and Settlement. When you're buying or selling your home, you'll need title and settlement services. Consider the Hawkeye Title and Settlement team. Give us a call at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement, the team you love, the people you trust.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
Car won't go into gear? Call Premier. Premier Automotive in North Liberty offers full-service mechanical auto repair, in addition to being Eastern Iowa's most trusted name in auto body repair. Use Premier for all your auto repair needs: brakes, oil changes, air conditioning, diagnostics, transmissions, or preventative maintenance. Whether you hit a deer or your car won't go into gear, see Premier Automotive in North Liberty.
Tavern Blue on the Coralville Strip offers the ultimate sizzle of wood-fired pizza perfection. Elevate your pizza game with over 20 wood-fired pizzas, ranging from the Tony Pepperoni, the Philly Cheesesteak Pizza, Mary Margarita, and the Tavern Supreme. From the freshest ingredients, Tavern Blue cooks their pizzas to mouth-watering perfection in their wood-fired oven, which helps bring out those old-world flavors. Fresh creative salads, tacos, burgers, signature cocktails, beer, and wine are just a taste of what Tavern Blue has to offer. Tavern Blue is a family-friendly establishment that offers mini golf, table games, darts, and foosball. Go to tavernblue.com for the latest news, events, and specials, along with full menu options. Once again, that's tavernblue.com.
When you go to a family restaurant, you want three things. One, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. Two, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And three, you want to be treated like family. You get all three at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches. And special ribeye and shrimp nights. Daily specials at each location. And no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Street and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at MidtownFamily.com. The family's waiting for you. GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit supples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy, 20,000 square foot indoor facility, holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential, develop a strong work ethic, and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
Hey, Iowa, we want your trade-ins. It's that simple. Sedans, coupes, SUVs, vans, trucks. We want them all. At Gary Ford in Iowa City. If you don't need it, don't want it, can't afford it, we'll pay top market value for your trade. If you got a trade, you got a deal. 0% financing available. Plus huge discounts on over 60 new vehicles in stock. So bring us your trade-in. We want them all. Gary Ford in Iowa City. Hurry in or shop online at DearyFord.com.
You hungry? The Oxyokin Sunday Brunch Buffet offers so many choices of fresh entrees, homemade salads, waffles, omelets made to order, pastries, 3 tiers of dessert, and much more. Such a great value. You can always eat out, but not every place serves an experience. Serve 9 until 2. See you this Sunday. Oxyokin, where you'll always leave happy.
The Oxyokin.
This is CNN.
Major breaking news coming from the U.S. Supreme Court right now. There's been a decision on a very, very important and sensitive issue, obstruction charges for January 6th assault, for the January 6th assault. This is a case called Fisher versus United States. Let's go to Pamela Brown. She's over at the Supreme Court for us. Pamela, set the scene for us. Tell us what the United States Supreme Court justices have now decided.
Yeah, this is the case, one of the cases we've been waiting for, and essentially it is a win for some of the January 6 defendants and could have implications for Donald Trump as well. I want to bring in my colleague Paula Reed for more on this and what the justices ruled.
We just got this opinion handed to us from the Supreme Court, and here the Supreme Court is limiting prosecutors' ability to bring obstruction charges in cases related to January 6. Now, this is significant not only for the people who have been charged with obstruction related to the January 6 attack, but also also potentially for the former president, who faces 2 charges related to obstruction. Now, we are still reading through this opinion, but what we know right now is this was written by Chief Justice John Roberts, and they're basically tossing this case back down to be relitigated. Now, this case focuses on a former Pennsylvania police officer. He was indicted by a grand jury for 7 different counts related to his actions on January 6th. One of them was obstruction, and he argued that the way the obstruction law is written, it was never meant to apply to what happened on January 6th. Instead, he said it was specifically written to prevent people from interfering with congressional inquiries. It was written in the wake of Enron, so that he was arguing that this was only meant to apply to people who interfered with evidence or actual investigations, not what happened on January 6th. And we saw in oral arguments, he definitely had some justices who were sympathetic to this argument. So here, Chief Justice John Roberts, this is one of the biggest cases that we've been watching so far, tossing this back down and limiting prosecutors' ability to pursue obstruction charges against this individual and others. And I do have some notes here. We know that approximately 250 cases related to January 6th involved this obstruction case. They are pending. Now, 52 people have already been convicted and sentenced with this specific obstruction charge, and of those, 27 people are incarcerated. Now, what we have not gotten today is the other January 6th case, which is the question of whether former President Trump has immunity that would shield him from his charges. It appears we are not likely to get that today, but we know they're going to release more opinions on Monday. This is a very significant opinion. This is one of the big ones we've been watching for, waiting for, and I would also expect the former president will weigh in, even though this doesn't have to deal with him specifically. I would expect he's going to weigh in here and talk about prosecutorial overreach, or what he would describe as prosecutorial overreach.
I want to hone in on the Donald Trump part of this, because as you noted, 2 of the felony charges and the election subversion case stem from this federal law, right?
Yes, exactly.
And even though that has to do with the fake electors scheme, right? Not any physical intrusion, but that's not going to stop Donald Trump from at least trying to undermine the case, right?
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Mostly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms likely today and tonight. And a couple of those could be strong to severe. Rain amounts 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch by the time things wind down late tonight. Our high today, 78. The wind out of the south at 15 to 25. Tonight, 71. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm. 87 our high tomorrow. Sunday, sunny, 77. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Current temp, 62.
KCJJ weather. Brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply, kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
Hawk Fanatic is back.
We're back. You know, something that Lisa Bluder said early in that interview, and I meant to come back to it near the end, I forgot, but when we were talking about Jan Jensen getting hired, she made it sound like she didn't know she was going to get the job. And I'm not saying she should just anoint her replacement, but it seemed like, I assume she had some input. But
she had a lot of input, and I think there was always an understanding that Jan was going to give serious consideration and be at the top of the list. But you never assume anything either, especially with a new AD. As well as I think Beth and Lisa get along, they haven't known each other for very long.
That's true.
I think that's kind of what she said. But I think it would have really taken a force of nature for Jan to not get this job, in large part because of Lisa's influence and her saying matters. I think a lot of that was out of respect for Jan, of course. They believe in her enough to promote her, but also to Lisa, too. So, but yeah, I mean, it was, you never say never. There's a process that has to happen. But I think when Jan got promoted to associate head coach, I think that was sort of the step. And I hate to compare the two, but I think what's going on with Jan is kind of like what I think Kirk wanted to happen with Brian.
Yeah.
And that was Kirk's prerogative. Obviously, it didn't happen. But yeah, no. I mean, Jan. I mean, if there wasn't the Jan Jensen factor, Jenny Lillis Bernarczyk, how do you pronounce her last name? She's the Oklahoma. She would have been a no-brainer type of candidate. But Jan's here, and you just knew it was going to happen. But yeah, that was fun listening to where she, some of her bucket list places to visit. She's got some. It just sounds like she's ready to just enjoy life away from the grind of what she did for 40 years, and I respect her for that.
Yeah.
She's still pretty young. I mean, she's in her she's in great health, and I get it. I respect her. I'm not saying coaches hang on too long, but some coaches do hang on too long. She was in no danger of doing that. I mean, she could have coached another. What's so cool about her is she's leaving on top, and at a time when really nobody expected her to leave. To me, there's something cool about that. Kind of like when Jim Brown retired from the NFL.
Well, I don't think I was in. I think it was Suter. But when you had Jan Jensen on, she said that basically I stuck around. I could have taken these other jobs,
She did.
but I didn't.
And I think Jan knew. Maybe Jan maybe they had. There were subtle references from Lisa to Jan, like, hey, I'm not coaching until I'm 70. You'll get your shot. There could have been those types of, who knows. But I like the way it's worked out. The only question I forgot to ask was, Lisa, how will Jan's teams look different than yours? And, I mean, Jan talked about that in detail at the press conference, so it's not like it hasn't been addressed. That was one question I just kind of forgot as stuff was bouncing in and out of my head, as it so often. What are you watching? What's CNN doing now? What do they got?
Got there, and now they're analyzing it.
The end of the Democratic Party? Is that today?
No, it's the obstruction.
They're changing the subject. They're going to the January 6th rioters case.
Yeah, I don't know.
I watched another interview that Jiminy Glick, he was interviewing some guy who you would know him.
It was the guy from, he was on Saturday Night Live, Bill Hader.
Okay, I'd never heard of the guy.
I didn't see it either, but I saw a clip of
it. Was just hilarious, and Bill Hader could not he spent the whole interview just laughing hysterically.
Bill Hader's great.
And Jiminy Glick was mean to him.
He's in the HBO show Barry.
Okay.
Jiminy
Glick,
really good show.
Jiminy Glick is mean. He's dismissive.
Yeah.
And he's great. I'd never really seen it before. I knew it was there, but it's now.
Yeah, that character was like 20 years ago on Comedy Central, wasn't it?
Did you ever watch the Bill? Yeah, I think it was. Did you ever watch the Bill Maher interview with Jiminy Glick?
That was great.
I have not.
You got to watch it. Have you seen it, Hunter? Did you see it? Oh, you guys!
I've never seen Bill Maher giggle before.
I mean, it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Roasting him.
And it was the first time I'd ever really seen Jiminy Glick.
Yeah, I never watched the show.
I'd seen him before 20 years ago, whatever, when it was really popular, but I'd never watched it until I'm like, all right, I'll watch this, and I was blown away by how funny it was.
He guest hosted, Martin Short guest hosted Jimmy Kimmel's show this week.
Okay. He's so talented. I loved it when he kept reminding him. He's interviewing him about his book, and he kept telling me, I haven't read it. I don't care.
Yeah.
He kept just saying, I don't care. I mean, he'd ask him a question. He goes, your answer, I really don't care, but I got to ask it. He was just taking shots the whole time. And Marr spent most of the time laughing. He couldn't answer. He had trouble answering some questions.
Yes, it was pretty good.
And the way they get him ready in that, it's amazing.
That show was great. Sure, was great in SNL, but he is great in Saturday in Second City TV.
Yes.
God, I love that.
He's very talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, this Bill Hader, the guy could not answer the questions. I mean, it was just a lot of it was just nonstop laughing, and I liked it when Jiminy Glick asked Marr a question early in the interview, and he said, "I'd like the answer tonight."
Yeah, and tonight, please, if you
could.
could.
Yeah, tonight, please, if you could, because Marr was struggling.
He was laughing because he couldn't come up with
He goes, "Tonight, please," with the answer. That was little stuff like that was good.
Hader was good in that show, Barry, but Winkler was just...
Winkler was outstanding
Are
in
you
that
talking
show.
Barry, B-A-R-R-Y?
Yeah, it was a show on HBO, dark comedy.
Is your dog named after it? Your old dog?
No, my dog, no.
Barry Williams from Brady Bunch?
Yes.
That's who it was?
Named after Barry Williams from Brady Bunch.
He was the oldest child. He set the example. Remember when he was Johnny Bravo?
Man, you just might as well be sitting in front of an old Dumont TV.
I will admit, I was going back.
19-inch.
I will admit, I was going back and forth last night from the Rockford Files to the debate, and I started hanging out at the Rockford Files longer than the
Who
debate.
would have done better? Biden or Angel?
Well, Angel would have done much better because he's the only guy that lies more than Trump. But, yeah, I started watching more of the Rockford Files for that first hour.
Bill Hader was great, and he didn't say a word as Lindsey Buckingham in those SNL sketches.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Where he was just like on the
From
side.
Fleetwood Mac?
Yes, he played Lindsey Buckingham. He just sit there and smile.
What an unusual. Oh, okay.
He didn't even talk.
I still say one of the
Sorry,
most.
they
I still
always
say one of the most underrated rock superstars.
Oh, yeah.
I know he's a superstar, but he's underrated.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
Great guitar player. And speaking of Fleetwood
So
Mac,
is Gilmore.
oh, I agree.
Ray?
But I don't think David. I think David Gilmour is a little more. At least in my world, he seems to get a little more praise.
Well,
than
now
Lindsey
you come into my wheelhouse because last week, and it's a discussion you guys always have, Rolling Stone did the top 50 guitarists of all time.
I saw it.
Roy Rogers did not make the cut. Or
Roy Clark.
Roy Clark.
Nor did Tommy.
The guy from Hee Haw didn't make the cut.
Wasn't Hendricks number 1?
Hendricks number 1.
Was Clapton number 2?
No, I don't. Where's Clapton on here?
Was it Jimmy Page number 2?
Chuck Berry number 2. Jimmy Page number 3. Number 4, Eddie Van Halen. Number 5, Jeff Beck.
Where's Clapton?
Boy, that's a good question. Where is Clapton?
See, I don't like his views on a lot of things, but to not
35.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I can't stand some of the things.
35.
That's too low for
Number
Eric
6 is somebody named Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
She's incredible.
Who is that?
I mean, just Google. I mean, she is incredible. I'm not saying she's the 6th, but she is incredible.
Okay.
You heard of her, Hunter? I mean, just watch her on video. I mean, she's from, what, the 40s, 50s? And, man, she could play.
Nile Rodgers, number 7. B.B. King, number 8. Joni Mitchell, number 9. Dwayne Allman, number 10. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, where's David Gilmour?
David Gilmour was on here somewhere. I thought maybe.
Jerry Garcia, I think, was like 46, wasn't he?
Yeah, Jerry Garcia is somewhere in there.
Where's Mark Knopfler?
Mark Knopfler didn't make the list, and people were mad about that.
That's ridiculous.
Jerry Garcia is number 34.
To not have Mark
David Gilmour, 28.
Yeah. How is Mark Knopfler not on that list?
St. Vincent's number 26. We play here on the plus.
But let's debate that. How is Mark Knopfler not on that list?
That was actually the one most people were complaining about on Twitter.
Well, it's a bunch of crap. I mean,
there's certain ones you could argue about getting, but Mark Knopfler,
it's a typical,
he'd be in my top 10,
listen,
maybe.
I think Rolling Stone does this crap just so that that they get conversations like this.
And why do you think they chose Mark Knopfler?
Because he's the guy's an expert guitar. I mean,
he's one of the great.
Yeah.
Who's number 50 on the list?
Let me take a look. I'll pull it back up here. Number 50 is Elmore James.
Okay, I mean, he wasn't he a big influence on Led Zeppelin?
Yeah.
Who's number 49?
49 is P.J. Harvey. She's an alternative rocker from like the 90s.
Yeah,
she's still around. That's what
I'm stunned that Mark Knopfler's not on that. Like Tommy Bolin, I was joking. He's one of my favorite guitarists. I think he was great. But obviously he didn't have a big enough body of work to be on there. But for Mark Knopfler not to be on there, that is bizarre.
Rolling Stone does this crap all the time where they,
They're kind of like Sports Illustrated, too. Their better days are behind them. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I don't know about that. They've just... No, our better days.
It's still good for me.
Well, I know that, but like I said, Rolling Stone, you're not...
When I say that, I'm...
It meant something to have a Rolling Stone in your hands 40 years ago. Now, those days are gone.
No,
I have boxes full of old Rolling Stones.
It meant something then, but the whole landscape has changed.
Yes.
And I think it means something to people that are younger than us. It doesn't mean anything anymore to people that are us that grew up with it.
I mean, I used to love Rolling Stone and would value their opinion, and they've been releasing a lot of those. They just did the drummers, and they had John Bonham number 1. I think they had Neil Peart number 4.
Alex Lifeson didn't make the list. That was another one people were mad about.
Oh, from Rush? Yeah, I could see a good argument for him too. But man, Mark Knopfler, he to me is the most. What's the word I'm looking for? When you hear his sound, you know right away. Yeah, well, I mean, just unique. When you hear 2 chords, boom, oh, that's Mark Knopfler.
Where was Les Paul?
Les Paul. Let me take a look. Les Paul. I'll see if he's on. I'm not even sure he's on here. He might be.
How about, and then Pete Townsend.
Les Paul. Pete Townsend, number 37. I don't see Les Paul on here.
Yeah, Les Paul.
There's Les Paul on the list.
I really don't go back to that era a lot at all, but I do go back to Les Paul, and you can see him on.
Brian May 33
on YouTube.
Yeah, don't you agree? Brian May 33. That's a little low, but I like Queen.
That's another distinct sound where you hear it.
Now where's Prince?
Prince is like 12, I think.
Okay.
No, hold on, 14.
Okay, I mean
Brian May is like. Well, I mean, he's a better. It's like Caitlin, where Caitlin's a better passer.
Yeah.
You're saying he's a better scientist than guitar?
He's a better scientist,
like Jeff Skunk
than
Baxter?
a guitarist.
Yeah. So, but no, I lost my train of thought. I feel like Biden.
Yeah.
I had
a moment there.
I'm Biden. You're Trump. Just start insulting me.
Just make stuff up.
You're the worst president in the history. This country's in the toilet. We suck as a country. We're the worst. We're the worst. When I was president, North Korea loved us.
Yeah.
That was my Trump impersonation.
That's good.
So you got to take your hands, put them right in front of you, and then spread them out.
They should have had them. Do you think it would have been better if they were closer together, like 2 feet apart instead of 8?
They would have started swinging at each other.
Yeah.
Missing.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted Biden to take
have to be pulled apart. Yeah.
I don't think he had the energy.
No.
I think it would have been one of those where about halfway through the punch, his arm just drops to the side, and then he's clutches onto the podium. So, but yeah, those good. Those things are of course so subjective, but some of those. There was another name that I was going to ask if he was on there. Now I've drawn a blank.
Oh, you had Mark Knopfler, and we were talking Brian May.
Oh, Robbie Krieger from The Doors.
Robbie Krieger. I didn't
Incredible
see
guitarist.
it, but let me see it here real quick.
He's a great. Now I'm biased because I love their music, but he is a great guitarist. And if you're the lead guitarist for a really successful band, to me that matters a little bit. But I don't think I remember seeing him on there.
I don't
either.
see him on the list either.
Yeah, that's the one. But when I saw that and I didn't see Mark Knopfler and now Robbie Krieger, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Well, I'm glad we brought that up.
Yeah, music. We're all over
Sometimes
the place.
we talk a little music on
We're
here.
I know.
It's almost July.
And
don't
when we
have a lot
had
of Hawkeye.
the first time we had Lisa on, she chose Fleetwood Mac to fill.
That's right.
Kinnick Stadium, and that one made a lot of sense. She grew up right. I mean, she was in college and high school when Fleetwood Mac was at their zenith. I mean, their apex. That's the word I've heard you. You guys. I've heard Suter use that in an ad for somebody.
Apex Construction.
Okay, and Suter's telling you what apex means. It's the top, the best.
Yes.
Yeah. The pinnacle.
The top of the heap.
Top of the heap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember she picked Fleetwood Mac, and I love Fleetwood. Well, to me, I think Lindsey Buckingham, you can make a case for him being on that list. He's a great guitarist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. You can go down and you'll find
there's
at least 50 other people.
But when you say Mark
made
Knopfler's a blatant omission,
yes.
I mean, blatant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
that one makes no sense.
Yeah.
I wonder what his reaction was when he saw that.
He said
Mark
they
Knopfler?
could go to hell.
He probably should have.
Yeah.
And as much as I don't like Eric Clapton off the stage, that's way too low for him, too.
No.
Yeah. Stevie Ray Vaughan's like top 20.
So do you think it's Hendrix, no questions asked? I asked Suter that, and Suter says yes, even though I don't think Suter's a huge fan of Hendrix's sound. But I respect Suter's opinion in this because he's a former musician. He said yes because nobody caused the guitar to evolve more than Hendrix in the brief time he was.
I have, yeah.
Because there's a lot of songs by Jimi Hendrix that I don't like. They're just too,
I hate his version of the Star Spangled
See, I
Banner.
love it. And I crank it really loud on July 4th. Loud, open up all my windows. And
Oh, yeah, we'll be playing that on a plus on
Oh, I do it
4th.
all the time and bug people.
I think it's ridiculous.
Why? Just because it's just too out there?
It's just noise.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that means you're too old. It's too loud.
Well, I thought it was noise then, though.
But you're young. Hendrix was born.
Hey, I'm younger than the guys running for president.
I think you're
Fair enough. And more cohesive.
You're younger than Hendrix if you're
Coherent.
still alive too.
Cohesive.
You were born in 49?
Yeah.
I think Hendrix was born in 43 or 44.
I mean, it's remarkable to me. My
dad is 1 year older than you. You're a year away.
My brother was 15, and he went to the call when Hendrix was there, 14 or 15, and jammed with him. And, I can still see it. I was there.
But it just seems like it's just widely accepted that he's the best on any type of poll or ranking, and nobody.
I can't
seems
argue
to,
with it. It's one where I don't know if I say
can't argue
it,
with
but
it.
when you say it, you go, yeah, okay.
I just don't understand the guitar enough to know. But like Suter was trying to explain it to me, just what he did at the time. Nobody was doing what he was doing.
Yeah, because it kind of talked.
John Bonham did the same thing with the bass snare drum type thing too.
But Hendrix made the guitar kind of, you could visualize, you hear his lyrics, and
he almost brought it to life. And
it sounds like it's talking.
And he burnt it
like
after.
Like Peter Frampton.
Remember when he burned it?
Well,
Imagine comparing Jimi Hendrix to Peter Frampton.
He made the guitar talk.
But he may have made his talk. Hendrix lit his on fire.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I think he had
Well,
another.
people were wrecking guitars right and left.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
Well, wasn't that part of the Who's act? They would destroy the stage after they were done playing.
Yeah.
I just have always thought that was kind of silly.
Well, can you imagine Taylor Swift going out there and just smashing?
No, she'd hand it to the Kelsey brothers, and they'd do it for her.
I like
that would be funny.
I like that she's fighting with Dave Grohl now. They're having like a feud.
Well, he said something mean about her. Said her music's tape.
They were both playing in London at the same night, and he said something about we've had many eras because she's got.
Yeah,
the
I heard
Eras
it.
Tour,
It was kind of mean though.
And something about we only screw up because we actually play our own instruments or something like that.
Yeah, but it's not
and
true.
then the next night she did something where she said, "Here's our band playing their own instruments,"
But she also plays her own instruments.
Yeah, she plays guitar.
Yeah.
That's how she started.
And she plays guitar. She plays piano. She, I mean.
Would you vote for her for president?
Yes.
You imagine her in that debate stage last night?
She's too nice, though. She's too nice.
She just breaks out into a song. But,
I would have preferred that to what I saw last night.
Did you watch from start to finish?
I did.
You grind it all the way through?
I was cleaning my apartment. And I gave the whole thing a scrub down and had it on in the background. And
I kept, like I said, I kept thinking it was Vito Corleone when I turned away. Just like Marlon Brando in The Godfather.
Yeah.
Back to the Hawks.
Back to the Hawks. What's going on? I'll go to the Hawkeye website and see if there's anything else we need to discuss.
Well, you've still got track people trying to qualify for stuff. I mean, everything college-wise is done. The seasons are over.
Yeah.
And they've had some commitments.
Clark named Female Athlete of the Year. We talked about
Big
that.
Ten Female Athlete.
Not on this show, though. But
she was named, and then she was named the Honda thing for. I forgot to post that one, but the Big Ten Female Athlete of the Year for the second straight year, and see if there's any.
There was I don't see it here, but I saw a story somewhere else about one of the. Maybe you had it. One of the women's wrestlers qualified for like a big tournament.
I saw it on Twitter. I did not have. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that going on. Where UI athletes are participating in their sport at in different tournaments and what have you. But I'm not seeing. But yeah, I mean, the recruiting, they've had 4 football commitments here in the last week, and I guess one of the big ones they're waiting for is a receiver. I believe his name's Terrence Smith, and last I read where he's down to Iowa and Minnesota, they're believed to be the favorites. That's obviously a big one because he plays a position where Iowa desperately needs help. Then the other one, of course, is Yosei Epinesa, who's taken all his 5 visits, and he's going to choose between Iowa, Miami, Utah, Penn State, and Missouri. And remember when we had Yosei on with the whole family, and I mispronounced his name throughout the whole interview.
They laughed at you?
They laughed the whole time, and then finally told me, I'm like, what are you guys laughing at? And that's when Epi's like, hey, remember I reminded you last night how to say my kid's name? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, you butchered it the whole interview. And they thought that was pretty funny and let me do it. Yeah, actually, you laughed when you realized what we had done.
Yeah.
Kid was in 8th grade. He's probably like, who is that creep on the...
Well, I mean, I just find that so ridiculous.
What?
8th... you don't know what's going to happen between 8th grade and.
Well, nobody was. I mean,
yeah, but I mean,
what's ridiculous? I mean, I'm not. What did he do?
Not that, but just that people are watching these children.
You've lost me. What does that have to do with Yosei Epinesa? I'm not sure where you're.
Because he was in 8th grade.
But we asked him to come on.
I understand that.
I'm not.
No, I understand that we ask him to come on. I'm just saying, as a general rule, that I don't understand.
And we actually never interviewed him. He was just in the background.
I know. Yeah, I was here.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, as a general rule, I don't think
8th graders shouldn't go on the radio.
No,
I'm just
who'd you rather have?
People were looking at him. People were hoping for him that he's going to do this, that, and the other. And
you're talking about like scouts, like
they're scouting him. Weren't they scouting him
in 8th grade? A little bit. Epi had a lot of control over that, though. Epi didn't like. I remember Tyler Devine reached out to him when he was in 8th or 9th grade because
that's what
for a possible story for Hawk Fanatic because other websites had written stories about, hey, he's 8th grade, but he's going to be a star. And Epi's like, no, I don't want you talking to him. Fair enough, I get it, but
that's what I was.
But yeah, no, there's organizations.
There's people looking at 6th graders.
Well, yeah, but that's how a lot of these people make their livings.
Well, it's ridiculous.
I agree with you on that. I mean, to me, 9th grade is when you can, I think, seriously start evaluating. But at that
No,
ship
that was
sailed.
a good interview. That was a good show.
We never had him on. But that ship has sailed, though, as
Yeah.
far as 6th and 7th graders. I mean, I see people, hey, here's the top player in the 2030 class. And I'm sitting there thinking, 2030, this is 24. Do the math. Okay, that's 4th, 5th grade. There's people, adults out there, right? Oh, he's number.
I know. And
that I agree. That is bizarre.
Yeah, that's what I was.
But I will say, Epi did a great job because Yosei was, and the other thing is, Yossi's even dealing with more hype now than AJ did because every year we live in this world we're living in now, the social media aspect and everything just gets worse.
So Rolling Stone does, who are the top 6th graders
Guitarist.
But yeah, some of these rankings and some of the, but the recruiting sites, that ship has sailed.
I could see kids in high school. Okay,
starting ninth grade to me is a fair. The
Yeah.
problem with the ranking kids in sixth grade and fifth, you don't know how tall they're going to be. Some of the best guys I remember growing up, some of the best athletes in fourth and fifth and sixth grade, they didn't grow. So by the time they were in 11th and 12th grade, some of them didn't even play sports anymore because they just never grew. They were really big, young, and what have you. And I think part of the reason they played sports is because they were big. But when they didn't stay big compared to the competition, they kind of drifted away from sport. That's why, to me, ninth grade, maybe eighth grade.
Some of them just get tired and they're not
Yeah,
interested
and
in
maybe
doing it.
eighth grade. Did you see that weird story about Kyle Filikowski, the Duke player, and who didn't get drafted in the first round? I know he did go in the second round, I believe, but he's estranged from his family because you should Google it. Google it.
Yeah, I've heard nothing about this.
He ended up, he's dating what I guess she used to be his baby. She's a strict Mormon, and she's basically taken over his life. He doesn't talk to his family anymore.
Kyle
Filikowski, just he visited here. Filikowski. Just get close to it and type in Duke, and he'll come up. Mormon girlfriend, it'll come up, and it's a weird story. It seems kind of sad. It sounds like he doesn't have any connection with his family anymore.
Wow.
And it's just weird. Nothing. I'm like I said.
He's no Bronny James. That's probably why I didn't get drafted.
How incredible is that?
That's so weird.
I've said I'm not anti-Mormon or anything. That's just the religion.
Kyle Filikowski's girlfriend, who is hot.
She is hot.
28, babysat him as a child.
And he's 20.
She babysat him as a child?
Yes.
And attended a senior prom at 26.
Yes.
His family alleged he's being groomed by the Mormons and hasn't been in touch with them. She's also 2 heads taller than him.
Well, she's standing on a chair or something because he's 7 foot.
Okay, well,
she's either.
I was just looking at
I saw the same picture and I was going to tweet something. I'm like, I better. I'm like,
here.
I was going to tweet. I'm like, God, how tall is she? But she's obviously standing on something.
Yeah,
because if not, she'd be 7'7".
The next picture.
He's dating the main alien from. What was it?
She is hot, though.
Yeah, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That giant alien comes out at the end.
But is she hot enough to just alienate your entire family? It's a sad story.
It is, but.
But he did visit Iowa, and I remember saying it was a great visit. I could see myself playing there.
He allegedly slid in the NBA draft due to concerns
Utah
with his relationship with a 28-year-old woman he's been dating since high school.
Oddly enough, or ironically, Utah.
Oh, well, there you go.
He's going to Utah to play. That's who drafted him.
Shocker.
Yeah. Well, he'll fit in if that's the lifestyle he chooses. Just thought that was a weird story.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
She's 8 years older than him, so I wonder if there was a time when, like, she was 18 and he was 10 and she was babysitting. There had to have. Or 17 and 9 or 16 and 8.
Yeah, he gets sick.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little odd. But it did say in there that he's estranged from his family, right?
Yeah.
So that was one of the draft side. It was a boring draft. There really weren't any real marquee star players. I mean, the most interesting thing was probably Bronny James getting drafted. Now he's teammates with his dad. I mean, that's so incredible.
Yeah, and his agent was telling people if you draft him, he's going to Australia.
I mean,
so he had to go to the Lakers.
And he's not a can't miss prospect. He's marginal. But what an incredible story, the fact that his father, who's going to be 40, is still one of the better players in the NBA. It's just, the guy never slows down. It's incredible. Yeah.
Like when the Griffeys played together in Seattle that one season.
Yeah, that was fun. There was one time where there was a ball being hit to Ken. He was playing left field, and the son playing center just walked right in front and stole the ball. And I'm not sure how much Dad liked it.
No, Dad chewed him out in the dugout.
But
afterwards,
Ken did it just because he wanted to piss his dad off.
Yeah.
Ken was laughing, but you could tell Senior was not happy. And then, I think he did go in the dugout and said, "Don't ever do that again." But it was funny because Junior just came over and
started laughing.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Your baby, okay, so she's babysitting him. How do you go seriously from now clean your room up and I'll give you a cookie? To
hey,
you got to
sit on the couch.
When I was a kid, we would have a babysitter who was my age. So I will defend that. Yes, Mom and Dad would go to bowling night and leave us with the girl from across the street who was in my class. I think it was more to watch us and report on us than to tell us what to do.
That's kind of borderline bizarre, a little creepy. Would you say
I
it's
think
more
they just
bizarre?
didn't trust me.
Would you say it's more bizarre or creepy?
I don't understand.
Well, and my little sister.
So you're 12
I was
years
more
old.
babysitting my
so
little
you're
sister.
12. You're 12 years old. How old was when you're 12? How old was your sister?
She would have been like 6.
Okay, so you're 12 and 6, and here comes the 12-year-old girl from across the street to babysit you guys.
Yeah.
That's.
But I think she was there more to watch Lisa because they didn't trust me to watch her.
Why didn't they trust you to watch her?
I don't know.
Well, what
Yeah, what the hell were you?
I don't know.
Wow.
Well, you better think about that.
I think you need to sit down with your parents and say, "Hey, where was I at 12 years old?
Yeah, what was I doing?
Why was the girl across the street?
And look where
coming
I am now.
Why was the girl across the street coming over to babysit? My sisters always had to babysit me, and one of them never paid it. I mean, I could have done anything. I mean, she would just get a book and read it, and I seriously, we could have burnt the house down, and she wouldn't have noticed anything going on. But yeah, that's an interesting story. Now, you were a little caught by that story, weren't you?
Yeah,
Babysitter the same age?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know this guy that has like 4 children following him. They're all walking down the street reading books. It's
Really?
really weird.
Huh.
I'm
Like
telling
the
you,
ducks and the ducklings?
he is your new Brommelkamp. He brings up Richard.
Brommelkamp's been off the air for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, he's lazy.
His show's barely longer than the debate.
Yeah, well,
More coherent.
Well, yeah.
Gym class, I don't know. But
No.
that's
No, not at all.
Okay, listen to 1 hour of the gym class or watch that 90-minute debate.
I fell asleep and then I woke up around 12:30 to use whatever, and they were doing a replay of the debate. I'm like,
What the hell?
It was a replay of the debate.
Well, they had to do that.
Oh, I know.
While they're doing their flash poll.
Yeah. And I saw another tweet. It was hilarious. The stage. Some guy's like, "Hey, can you tell me which network is carrying it?" And then he had circled every reference
CNN.
to
Yeah, the
there was
logo's everywhere.
CNN logo was everywhere.
Yeah.
I got a kick out of that.
I didn't see that.
At some point, you just got to have fun with it, don't you?
This might be good for Jack Smith, is what they're saying. Because if Jack Smith drops the obstruction charges against and just goes to the main, charges about hoarding the files,
Yeah.
he might be able to get it to court before the election. So they're saying that's a possibility if he just drops the obstruction charge.
What about what if Trump is running the country from prison? Wouldn't that be hilarious? They have press conferences.
We had, who was that? What the hell was his name? LaRoche. Remember?
Lyndon LaRoche?
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Lyndon LaRouche.
Lyndon LaRouche.
My mom has entered the chat, by the way.
Uh-oh. Who's?
The girl across the street liked to play with Barbies, and Tommy didn't. So I guess I wouldn't
Oh.
play with my sister. So they
Okay.
just wanted to have somebody who could play with her.
All right.
Okay, now, do you still have the girl across the street watching Gene?
No, he is unfettered. I go check on him sometimes after work.
But now you
Also, they point out Brommelkamp went to the Rolling Stones concert last night, and Mick Jagger, 81, lots of energy, can hear him talk.
Ooh, Todd taking a shot there.
Yeah.
But you do play with Barbies now, though, don't you?
Not like the doll, no.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a girl named Barbie.
So where were the Rolling Stones last night?
I think Chicago? They're in Chicago this weekend, I know.
So was he not on the air today?
Maybe not.
What a lazy.
Think about that, though. Think about that, though, that Biden and Mick Jagger are the
Well, he's
same
not going
age.
to Europe for 2 weeks.
Think about that. Biden and Mick Jagger are
the same
age.
age.
Yeah.
Are the same age.
Yeah.
Imagine Mick Jagger on that
Biden's
stage.
running around the stage. Or
He would have just started dancing. Then Trump would have done the double jerk, and that would have been.
does that
I love
jerk.
it.
Double jerk.
That's the only move he really seems to know. And his worshipers, it's just they love it.
It is kind of okay,
And it's kind of telling because there's Jill Biden at the end coming out, with her husband, and Trump just walks off stage.
they
all
made a
by
big point
himself.
before the debate saying Melania's not here. Like it was like a big breaking
Like a big
story.
surprise. She hasn't.
Yeah.
And the haters will say, well, yeah, Joe was helping to carry Joe off because he didn't know where he was. That's what they're saying. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean,
it is, whatever. I mean,
that is kind of sad.
so how long during the debate did it take you to say, oh God?
It was
About a
like
minute.
watching the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
I turned the jam during the Rose Bowl after a minute and said, "Well, this is over."
Well, the moment I heard his voice, I'm like, it sounded like he had just smoked 6 packs of cigarettes.
Well, it sounded like, it's believable that he had a cold.
Oh, sure.
And now they're saying, people are saying, why didn't you say that? We were afraid that it would make him look sickly. Well,
he already did look sickly.
Yeah, he sounded sickly.
Yeah.
So just say, I've got, he could have come out and said, excuse my voice, I have got a cold.
The other thing, his final statement was horrible.
Yeah, the whole thing.
He didn't even.
The whole thing was bad. It just was real bad. But I'd rather have somebody,
like I said, my vote is not changing.
I said to Hunter today, I'd vote for Biden if his head was in
the jar like Futurama. Yeah,
yeah,
I heard
like
that.
a Futurama. More than I'll never vote for him, and I'll never vote for another. I won't vote for another Republican.
Could you those ever?
I can't believe what they did to the. And I voted Republican.
Imagine Jiminy Glick interviewing Trump. That would wouldn't that be classic? I'm not sure if he has got the kind of sense of humor that could take it.
No,
not like Obama on Between Two Ferns.
I think he'd get.
Zach Galifianakis did that interview with Obama.
I don't remember.
It's right up there with that. Obama's just insulting him.
That would be classic, though, to see that. I mean, Jiminy Glick with Biden might be a little sad.
No, Biden wouldn't play. Biden can't take it.
Yeah.
I mean, he just can't. No, not Biden. Trump, can't take it. No. Biden can't take it either. They both, listen, they're old.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm old.
But you're not as old as them. I mean,
don't you think I should just give it up?
There are moments when I kind of wonder. You have your little Biden moments sometimes.
Biden moments.
Hell, I have my own Biden moments.
Yeah. Well, everybody has their Biden moments.
They do. Well, especially the older you get. The older you get, you do.
Oh, hell, I had Biden moments when I was 30. There's always something that screwed up with me.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been good with names.
No.
The one thing that he kept saying, number one, number two. I got tired of that too. It just was not. They just didn't prepare well.
No, not at all.
I wonder if they over-prepared. It just seemed like a robot with his answers. Nothing was natural.
Yeah, I think that you hit it. They over-prepared him, and they ran him ragged, and then he was in Europe twice. All within the span of 3 weeks, and he's 81.
And regardless what you think of Trump, he does know how to own the microphone in the stage.
Oh,
he does. He's got a skill for it.
He's a showman.
He's a showman.
He gave his voters what they wanted last night.
Yeah, meanness, lies, and just own the opposition. That's what they want. He's got a lot of Barnum and Bailey in him, and that's what.
I'm just holding to the prayer that.
That's Bon Jovi, isn't it?
They're living on a prayer.
Oh, okay.
That it's 30%, roughly 30%, are Trumpers, and the other 70% that vote will not be Trumpers.
I was not overly optimistic before. I'm less optimistic, but like I said, none of us know. We'll just see.
We don't.
But I'm not optimistic,
and we don't know what'll happen.
I'm not very optimistic.
So if the Supreme Court on Monday says presidents don't have, they have immunity, they can do anything they want.
Biden just locks up the entire Republican Party.
Biden, yeah,
he's got Jim Jordan down in some brick dungeon.
Yeah. He arrests Trump.
Forces Steve Bannon to take a shower. You imagine that?
No, I can't.
The water starts heading down, then stops about halfway through.
Well, it's like when you wax your car; it just starts beating up.
Well, that's when it's in good condition.
It won't soak.
No, not with him.
But it won't soak in.
Yeah, he's hard to look at.
You think he drinks?
Well, I think that's part of it. But
he's got a Google map for a face.
Yeah, it's not good.
No,
he goes to jail on Monday.
Yeah.
Would you rather have to pay your mortgage on Monday or go to jail if you had to choose between the two? Neither one are fun.
Get 3 meals in jail.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and
you've been to the John. We did a tour of the Johnson County Jail a few months ago.
I wouldn't want to stay in that one. No, I would like a nice federal prison.
No, you'd want more of a minimum security state prison.
Yeah.
Maybe a room with a TV. Just you give yourself a TV, a pooper, and a cell phone, and you're set. Yeah. That's all you need, isn't it?
I got my Jimmy Streep fixed my pooper last.
Did he really?
Yesterday.
Your toilet.
Yeah.
He's not a proctologist. And if he is, I have questions about his business practices.
God, he's a plumber. He remodels and he does. Well, the guy is talented.
He offered to do it for free. I don't get it. Before we go, I want to play something for you guys.
Is it already 10:30?
We're getting there.
Okay.
Because there may be discussion after
What
this.
is this music or?
It's music. There's a new TV commercial. Ozzy Osbourne is promoting a drink called Liquid Death. And it's been around for a little while.
Is it an energy drink?
It's like an energy drink, yeah,
Okay.
but now it comes in a powder form. So in the commercial, the
And
kids...
I'm sure he's used to that, don't you think?
Well, this will play into it. Okay, so there's a commercial where the two kids are on their skateboards, or they've been skateboarding, and they're putting the powder into their water bottles by the side of the road. And Ozzy's limo pulls up, and he rolls down his window and starts talking to him. And I want that to be this. That's all the image you need. Let's get into the commercial. I think you will appreciate it. Hold on a second here. Let's start at the beginning.
No way. Ozzy Osbourne? Death dust? Take it from me. Don't snort that stuff. We were planning on snorting it. Yeah, we're going to mix it with water and hydrate. It's got electrolytes, which your body needs. Yeah, it's delicious.
Whatever you do, don't try freebasing it.
Free what?
And never, ever inject it.
And how would we even...
And don't even think about boofing it, you little perverts.
Boof?
You know, where you stick it up your ass.
That's an actual commercial?
That's a TV commercial.
And now it's on Hawk Fanatics podcast.
Yes.
We went from Lisa Bluder to that?
Yes, we did. I thought you'd get a kick out of it.
Check it out. It's free.
KCJJ Weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply Kitchens and